Welcome to our video on April 2019 forecast for astrology. This is going to include both lunar phases for the new and the full moons. And the new moon is going to be on the 5th of April, and then the full moon is going to be on the 19th of April 2019. We're going to also go over monthly ingresses, horoscope houses. We're going to do stations for you. That's whether something's direct or retrograde. Also planetary aspects. And this is, we've chosen Ostara, or Easter, happening on the 21st of April. Now the sun will be trine Jupiter, and the moon will be trine Neptune, Venus, and Mercury on the 21st, on Ostara, on Easter. So these zodiacal facets are sure to bring fortunate circumstances for celestial and for mundane festivals and celebrations alike. We will also be providing you with accurate corresponding planetary archangels and zodiac angels to evoke, to call upon, towards making your gatherings fun and fruitful celebrations for everyone. First, our disclaimer. Watching this video or reading the attached document is an act of spiritual willpower, and any such action is considered magic. High magic should be used with all mindfulness, since powerful forces of manifestation are unleashed. This is intended exclusively for entertainment purposes. I'm Pastor Rosemary, the astrology angel. I'm a Rosicrucian seer, biblical astrologer, Christian psychic, and Gnostic mystic. And this is a Readings by Rosemary angelic transmission. Now, the Easter celebration, or Festival of Ostara, occurs on April 21st, again, 2019. Now, we have selected this day for April's astrology at, we're going to use this chart, we're going to be using Greenwich Mean Time, and it's going to be at 11 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time, that's GMT, for your hourly house calculations. That's what we've chosen. Now, remember that this would be 12 p.m. noon if you were going to apply daylight savings time. And we are including planetary aspects, stations, and horoscope houses for both, again, natural houses associated with the planetary placements as well as hourly houses. So we're going to have not only what's associated with the sign that the planet is in, because houses are associated with signs, and especially if there are natural charts. We're also going to give you the specifics because we've chosen the 21st. We're going to give you the ones that change if you put in a different hour or a different time, so that we give you a lot of specifics about this event, so that you can have, again, really fun celebrations, and so that you can evoke a lot of the angels that you feel are going to be the best guardian angels for you during this time. All right, so now we're going to show you our chart. We have for April, what we have the one up here is for the 21st specifically, okay, for the 21st, yeah, for Easter or Ostara. And this one here is for the entire month. It goes over the ingresses, it goes over the full moon and the new moon and the ingresses, and we're going to tell you the stations also, again, for the whole month of April, so you can get all this information. We're going to start again, though, with the 21st, okay? So we're going to focus on the 21st of April. Okay, now, on that day, the sun is in Taurus at 1 degree, 3 minutes in the 10th house, which is similar to the sign of Capricorn. That's Capricorn the goat, of social standing and fame. Now, Taurus's divine tone is I have. Planetary archangel Michael visits the habitation of zodiac angel Asmodel. For zodiac angel Asmodel, again, that's going to be associated with Taurus, the bull, which the divine tone is I have. Now, zodiac angels and also planetary angels are important because Michael, the archangel Michael, is associated with all the fire signs in the zodiac, but he's also associated with the sun. All right, so this is the fire Merkaba field that represents the archangel Michael. Okay, so it's because it's for fire. All right, that's the three-dimensional representation of that Merkaba field Mer meaning rotating fields of light, Ka meaning spirit, and Ba meaning soul. Now going to the moon, okay? The moon in Scorpio. The moon is here in the sign of Scorpio. The Scorpion, again on the 21st. Now it's at 27 degrees, 9 minutes in 5th house, which is similar to the sign of Leo, of children and creativity. Now Scorpio's divine tone, which the planet is in the moon and the sun are considered ancient planets. The moon is in Scorpio, but it's in the 5th house. So this is Luna being in the sign of the Scorpion. Okay, now Scorpio's divine tone is I create. Planetary Archangel Gabriel visits dwelling of Zodiac Angel Barchiel. So Barchiel is associated with Scorpio, and it's in the 5th house. Scorpio in a natural chart is in the 8th house, associated with all kinds of intense things like birth and sex and death and debt. But the house that it's in that day is the hour for hours is Leo. For that, it's for that specific time down to the hour, and that will make it associated with children and creativity. All right, now again, Scorpio's divine tone is I create. Planetary Archangel Gabriel is the archangel that is associated with the Merkaba field of water. So this is the Merkaba field of waters of the water archangel Gabriel. Okay, for water, three-dimensional representation of a Merkaba field for Archangel Gabriel. All right, that's the three-dimensional and the Merkaba field representation. Okay, now Mercury, the planet Mercury, who's associated with the Archangel Raphael, is going to be in Aries on that day. So we've got Mercury. We have Mercury in the in Aries. Mercury is here in the sign of Aries the Ram, and that's going to be at 5 degrees 26 minutes in 9th house, which is similar to the sign of Sagittarius of life path meaning. Aries divine tone is I am. Aries is associated with the natural 1st house. When Aries is in a 1st house position, that's a natural chart, because Aries is associated with beginnings in the head, Pisces the tail, that kind of thing. Now, planetary Archangel Raphael visits abode of Zodiac Angel Machida-El. Machida-El of the sign of Aries. Now, the Archangel Raphael is associated with planet Mercury, is associated with the air Merkaba field, because he's in charge of all the air signs, just like Gabriel's in charge of all the water signs. Raphael's in charge of all the air signs, the elemental association. This is your three-dimensional Merkaba field for this representation of the Archangel of Air being Raphael. Raphael is also the planetary Archangel of Mercury. Okay, now Mercury is also associated with Thoth of Atlantis and Thoth of Egypt, and also with, in Greece, Hermes Trismegistus, and in Rome, Mercury, of course, and Archangel Raphael and Saint Paul, if you assign a saint to, because there's always a saint in esoteric Christianity, a saint associated with all the zodiac signs and the planetary aspects and all of that. So, there are biblical associations for that. Now, Venus, the planet Venus here is going to also be in Aries at 0 degrees 56 minutes in 9th house, which is similar to the sign of, again, Sagittarius of life path meaning. Now, Aries divine tone again is I am. I am. Planetary Archangel Anael of Venus visits habitation of Zodiac Angel Machida-El. So Machida-El here for Aries. Okay, so again, Aries is the first, is associated in the natural chart with the 1st house of self and appearances. All right, so you have the Venus conjunct Mercury, as you see, just like the Sun on that day will be conjunct Uranus. We have and Saturn conjunct Pluto. So you have a lot of very interesting and powerful aspects, planetary facets happening on that day. Now, Mars in Gemini. So we have the planet Mars in the sign of Gemini, the twins, at 13 degrees, 57 minutes in 11th house, which is similar to the sign of Aquarius, of friends and reputation. Now, Gemini's divine tone, which is associated with the third natural house of transportation communication, but basically Gemini's divine tone is I think. This is Gemini, Mars in Gemini, okay? So Gemini's divine tone is I think. Planetary seraphim Samael is associated with Mars, visits dwelling of zodiac angel Umbriel. All right. Now, we're going. Gemini is an air sign. It's mutable air. Okay. Now, Jupiter on Ostara or Easter. Jupiter is in Sagittarius. Planet Jupiter is retrograde in Sagittarius, and apparently I should maybe have the lights just slightly lower here for you so that you can see the chart a little better, and just a little closer in for you. Okay, that should help. And then when we do this chart, we'll lift that up for you. Okay, so remember, Jupiter, planet Jupiter here in Sagittarius, retrograde. Jupiter retrograde in Sagittarius. Now, it's at 24 degrees, 10 minutes in 5th house, which is similar to the sign of Leo, of children and creativity. Sagittarius' divine tone is I perceive. So Sagittarius is associated with the in the natural chart with the 9th house. The 9th house of life path meaning. So in Leo, it's going to be in the 5th house on that day at that time. Leo's associated with children and creativity, and that's what associated with the 5th house. Now, Sagittarius' divine tone is I perceive, and planetary archangel Sachiel visits the abode of zodiac angel Adnachiel. So Adnachiel associated with Sagittarius, and the archangel Sachiel is the planetary angel associated with the planet Jupiter. Okay? All right. Now, going to Saturn, the planet Saturn. Saturn in Capricorn on Ostara or Easter at 20 degrees, 27 minutes in 6th house, which is similar to the sign of Virgo, of habits and health. Now, Capricorn's divine tone is I use. Capricorn's associated with the 10th house. Okay? And the 10th house is associated with social standing and fame. Now, Capricorn's divine tone is I use. And the planetary archangel Cassiel visits habitation of zodiac angel Hanael. So Hanael is associated with Capricorn, the goat, and Cassiel, the planetary archangel Cassiel, is associated with the planet Saturn. So Saturn in Capricorn. Now, the planet Uranus is in Taurus on the 21st of April. That's Uranus in Taurus, in the sign of Taurus here, and it's conjunct the sun. And that's at 2 degrees, 26 minutes in 10th house, which is similar to the sign of Capricorn, of social standing and fame. Now, Taurus's divine tone is I have. Taurus is in a placement where it's associated in a natural chart with the 2nd house of money and possessions. Again, Taurus, I have. Now, planetary archangel Ariel, that's A-U-R-I-E-L, visits dwelling of zodiac angel Asmodel. Zodiac angel Asmodel associated with Taurus, the bull. And planetary archangel Ariel, with A-U-R-I-E-L, Ariel, associated with the planet Uranus. Okay? Neptune in Pisces at 17 degrees 45 minutes. So here, planet Neptune here in the sign of Pisces, the fish, at 17 degrees 45 minutes in 9th house, which is similar to the sign of Sagittarius, of life path meaning. That's the 9th house. Now, Pisces divine tone is I believe. So Pisces in a natural chart is associated with the 12th house of spirituality. Okay, so again, Pisces associated with I believe. Now, planetary archangel Asariel of Neptune visits abode of zodiac angel Amnitziel. Amnitziel associated with Pisces, the fish. Remember, like Amnitziel, like amniotic fluid, oceans, that kind of thing. Okay, so that's how you can tell how some of these words are arrived at. Now, Pluto, the planet Pluto, most astrologers still consider Pluto a planet, and a very important planet at that. So Pluto in Capricorn. We have Pluto in Capricorn, the goat, at 23 degrees, 8 minutes in 6th house, which is similar to the sign of Virgo, the Virgin, of habits and health. Now, Capricorn's divine tone is I use, okay? And planetary archangel Azrael of Pluto visits habitation of zodiac angel Hanael. Hanael, again, associated with Capricorn. Azrael associated with Pluto. Okay? Now, the North Node is retrograde in the sign of Cancer, the crab. So we have the North Node, or Caput Draconis. North Node, Caput Draconis, retrograde in the sign of Cancer, the crab. And that's at 21 degrees, 43 minutes in 12th house, which is similar to the sign of Pisces, of spirituality. Cancer's divine tone is I feel. All about feelings. With Cancer, again, the divine tone is I feel. So now the Cancer, the crab, is associated in a natural chart with hearth, home, and family, or the kitchen, the home, and the family. Okay? Now, planetary archangel Gabriel rules over Luna, and due to this aspect associates with the sign of Cancer, the crab, which is ruled by the moon. Now, in this retrograde station, there is often nostalgic or unresolved feelings which might need to be kind of revisited for further healing. Now, Cancer, the crab, is a nurturing sign, so make sure to nurture those qualities in yourself that you wish to cultivate for health and happiness, while ignoring attributes in yourself that do not give you what you truly want in life. Okay? Now, we chose 11 a.m. for our hourly calculations and 12 p.m. noon. If you're applying daylight savings time, which reveals 12th house qualities of spirituality akin to the sign of Pisces, the fish, for the North Node, that retrograde North Node again. And this places the South Node in the 6th house with attributes analogous to the sign of Virgo, the Virgin. Okay? So, now, therefore, one must make sure to prioritize and take care of oneself and listen to one's body when it comes to daily routines and health habits, and balance these with any or spiritual path or religion that one is following. So the South Node placement is in the sign of Capricorn, the goat, whose divine tone is I use, or I utilize, I use. Now, the North Node, being Cancer, the crab, retrograde again in the sign of Cancer, has a divine tone of I feel. Now, the North Node represents an individual's path in this current incarnation, whereas the South Node corresponds to one's past incarnation. So that's very important to understand what they represent. Now, so you see we've placed here, very small, but it's up here, we have the South Node, or Cata Draconis, in retrograde in Capricorn, the goat. So we have Cata Draconis, or the South Node, retrograde in the sign of Capricorn, the goat. Now, some people say that these calculations, these placements, they're not really planets. They're like, there's places on the moon. They're like trajectories on the moon, and they're some people say that they're always retrograde. Others don't agree with that. But even those who say that goes retrograde and direct, even though it's just sort of a placement in relation to something else, it is technically retrograde at this time on that day, at that time on that hour. Okay, so this is very precise. And also, we want to show you, because Capricorn's an earth sign, cardinal earth sign, we want to show you the Merkaba field for the earth, all the earth angels, that represents the Archangel Uriel with a U-R-I-E-L. Uriel. It looks like a Star of David, and it's in a three-dimensional form. This is the Merkaba field of Merkaba, tomato. Merkaba or Merkaba field of the elemental Archangel Uriel of all the earth signs. So for Earth, it's very beautiful representation. Now, the astrological formula for a Capricorn the goat south node, or Cata Draconis past life with the divine tone of I use, and a Cancer the crab north node, or Caput Draconis, present incarnation with the divine tone of I feel, is that a person who knows how to utilize people and creatures, both flora and fauna, for either personal or organizational gain, must now strive to learn how to experience and appreciate what the other creature is experiencing. Now, concepts for sins of the past, or for those of ancestors, or what is known as quote unquote karma, those who call it karma, is not a reason to shame others, nor to feel personal guilt. This is explained with Messiahs and Messianic kingdom systems of debt forgiveness, of which there are many. Guilt or shaming others it's arrogant, because it presupposes that anyone other than Creator had anything to do with anything that has ever happened, is happening, or ever will happen. Now, the Creator of the universe is in absolutely complete control. Complete control at every single moment, and therefore he is responsible for everything that everyone does. Now, each event is a necessary portion of God's grand design, and each piece of a puzzle is significant no matter how big or small. Everything is predetermined, and the only freedom that we humans have is to choose to justify the Creator at every moment, no matter what happens, and to figure out in that moment how any specific event is good for the universal creature or world soul, since we are all one. We are all one, okay? That is what it means to pray without ceasing. Now, before we get to the next one, what we want to show you, we'd like to, because we're going to have to give you more ability to see it there. But before we do that, let's get to St. John 3:16. So the book of John, 3:16, in the Webster's Bible translation, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. And 1 Thessalonians 5:17 in the Webster Bible translation, pray without ceasing. So what we're saying is, you don't have to sit there and just be like this and repeating things to yourself. That's fine if you want to do that sometimes. Prayers are good. Those kind of rehearsed prayers are good. But and to just say whatever you want to God is sort of kind of at that point just talking to yourself. So, and probably to your own ego. So what you want to do, so what you want to do is just, whenever anything happens, no matter how big or small it is, just know and remind yourself constantly that the Creator has caused it to happen. Justify the Creator that he's doing the right thing and the best thing for you. The best thing for you, and that you are going to automatically know. You're going to automatically know what it is you want or you desire, because whatever the Creator does is to create a need in you. Like if somebody hands you a cup, you got to fill it up with something, right? That's all it is. Giving you a cup so you can fill something up. And what you need to do then is just figure out exactly what Creator wants you to do and do that. And that's praying without ceasing. That's praying constantly. That's praying without ceasing. So again, John 3:16, Webster Bible translation, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. Okay? And that's what Christ represents, or the Mashiach, or the Messiah represents, it's the anointed one. Christ means the anointed one, like the pharaohs were the anointed. They were anointed with crocodile oil. They say the presidents might do that too. I don't know. Maybe that's just a rumor. I don't know. But it shows you that that is the will to bestow, and we all need to. Now remember, I had mentioned to you years ago in my videos that the Pharaoh was the only one who could attain the upper worlds. But now we're all being shown that we're all going to become pharaohs, and we're all going to be able to attain the upper worlds. We have to understand how to do it. And all you have to do is study Kabbalah and read the Zohar along with the Bible, because it's been said. I do want to quote one of my Kabbalah teachers. I have many Kabbalah teachers, but I would like to quote one specifically. Dr. Michael Lightman had stated in one of his lectures that if you only read the Bible and you don't read the Zohar, one could start to think that they were better than another person. If you only read the Bible and you don't read the Zohar, you might think or begin to have an arrogant or a conceited attribute about yourself. You might begin to think that you're better than other people, and that other people should be done away with, and that you're somehow above them. But when you read the Zohar, you understand that we're all in this together, we're all one, and that we all have to get along. Like, the trees have to do what they do, and then the rabbits and the birds do what they do, and the insects do what they do. So everything does what it does. And all people do what they do, different cultures do what they do, and everything's beautiful. All cultures are beautiful, all cultures should be cherished and preserved, and languages are all beautiful and should be cherished and preserved, and all people's spiritual systems and religions should be cherished and preserved. And the thing is that the Kabbalah is something that doesn't do away with religion. All religions are studied in Kabbalah. All religions are honored in Kabbalah. And if you study Kabbalah, it makes you a better Christian. It makes you better, whatever I'm a Catholic. I'm a better Catholic because I study Kabbalah. Now it all makes sense to me. It didn't make sense to me before, but now it all makes sense. Now that I understand, I've been reading the Zohar and understand Kabbalah. I've been studying the Kabbalah for a very long time, since the early 90s. So, yes. So, okay, now regarding the progression of the equinoxes, right, the progression of the equinoxes, that debate. Now, okay, seasonal considerations must be taken into account due to environmental conditions, and therefore current Western astrological calculations and Earth-centric systems are just as accurate and viable as solar-centric systems. Having charts done in Western, Vedic, and Chinese astrology gives several aspects of God's great clock. Everything is God's great clock. Even trees and humans are portions of God's great clock. Okay, now, also regarding the sign of Cancer the Crab and the regrettable association that the medical profession has placed upon this nurturing sign, of all things maternal, please see my video entitled Cancer the Crab, Why Did They Name a Disease After You? Where I talk about how and why that was done by the patriarchy, and how that should not be the case, since it's, hearth, home, and family, and it rules the breasts and all of that. It's the moon and the mother and all of that. Really we need to, make, we need to address that and call it something else. So see that video, and, that'll be my comment about that. Because I'm a registered nurse, and also, I'm an astrologer, so I put two and two together, and I studied a lot of feminism and history and religion, so I realized, what that was after a while. But it's deeper than that, because I'll say this is basically what the video says, but basically the upper worlds are in a state of undifferentiated immortality, which is what they say that, the cancer cells are, what they call cancer. But stem cells are the same thing, but stem cells fall into specificity. And stem cells, so they fall down through the dimensions into the lower worlds, and they become specific for what they're needed for, and they don't argue. That's the difference. So, you know, one needs to do what one is being instructed to do. You know, God will tell you what God wants you to do, and if you have to take a lower status or whatever, then you do that. If you have to be more specific, then you do that. And if He wants you up and raised to the higher worlds, then you do that. If He wants you not raised, He wants you to deal with the lower world so that you can help the people and the animals and all of that, then you, if you, again, do specifically what God asks you to do, you'll know, because everything that happens in your world is what God wants you to do. Okay? And then you do exactly what you're asked, what you're supposed to do. You got to cut the grass, you go outside and you cut your grass. If you got to park your car, you got to go park your car. If you got to, you know, cut somebody's hair, you cut somebody's hair. You know, if you got to, whatever you got to do. You know, just don't think that always that you're too good to do things. Just do whatever it is God has instructed you to do. Okay? If you have to change somebody's diapers, like so many of us moms have to do, that's what you have to do. Okay? All right. Now, so again, see that video, and that'll give you more on that. Now, the planetary aspects for April 21st of 2019 are that, oh, yeah, I have to give you a closer look at this again, because we're going to have to get into the planetary aspects. Okay. Now, all right, now the Sun trine Jupiter. So Jupiter here, and we have a trine. Now trines are very good. So Sun trine Jupiter. Sun conjunct Uranus. So we have the Sun and Uranus in Taurus on that day. And the Sun square Pluto. So the Sun is square Pluto. So we have this here. This square here. Okay? Sun square Pluto. Now the Moon trine Mercury. So the Moon trine the planet Mercury here. Moon trine Venus here, because Mercury and Venus are both in Aries on that day. And Sun square Pluto. So Sun is square Pluto. Oh, I'm sorry. And the Moon is sextile, excuse me. And the Moon is trine Neptune also, though. Now, the Moon trine Neptune here. Neptune in Pisces. So, now Moon sextile Pluto. Moon sextile Pluto with the Moon in Scorpio and Pluto in Capricorn. Mercury trine Moon. So, also, again, Mercury trine the Moon. Mercury conjunct Venus, Mercury and Venus in Aries. Venus trine Moon. And Venus conjunct Mercury. Again, both in Aries. Now, Mars is going to be square Neptune on the 21st. So we have Mars in Gemini, and it's square Neptune in Pisces. Square Neptune in Pisces. And I'm going to have the Zodiac, this astrology chart will be on my Readings by Rosemary Facebook page, if you want to see it closer. Mars square Neptune. Now Jupiter trine the Sun. So Jupiter in Sagittarius retrograde trine the Sun in Taurus the Bull. And Jupiter is also square Neptune at that time on that day. So Jupiter is square Neptune, and that is here, this red line here. There's Neptune in Pisces, Jupiter retrograde in Sagittarius. Okay, square Neptune. Now Saturn sextile Neptune. So we have Saturn here in Capricorn, the goat, and Saturn is going to be sextile Neptune. So it's green line sextile Neptune in Pisces. Saturn in Capricorn conjunct Pluto, both in Capricorn. Now Uranus conjunct the Sun. So Uranus and the Sun both in Taurus the Bull. And again, Neptune trine the moon. So we have Neptune here in Pisces trine the moon in Scorpio. And Neptune square Mars. So Neptune here square Mars here. Neptune in Pisces square Mars in Gemini, the twins. And Neptune square Jupiter. Neptune here, this red line here, square Jupiter. Neptune in Pisces square Jupiter in Sagittarius, and Jupiter being retrograde. And Neptune sextile Saturn. So Neptune, the green line, sextile Saturn. Neptune in Pisces, sextile Saturn, which is in Capricorn, okay, on that day at that time. And Pluto square the Sun. So we have Pluto square the Sun here. Pluto in Capricorn squares the Sun. Pluto square the Sun in, right here's red line, in Taurus, the bull. And Pluto sextile the moon. So Pluto, and this green line here, sextile the moon. Pluto in Capricorn sextile the moon in Scorpio, the scorpion. Okay? And Pluto conjunct Saturn. Pluto conjunct Saturn. Now, moving along to the month of April 2019, and the ingresses and the stations and some of the new and the full moons. We're going to go ahead and bring this in so we can see it a little more. There we go, to this chart that we've made here, the lower chart. And we have here, again, we're going to give you the lunar phases, the ingresses, the natural horoscope houses, stations, planetary archangels, and zodiac. We're going to give you the zodiac angels using Greenwich Mean Time. Okay, we're going to give you Greenwich Mean Time. Now, April 5th, 2019, we have a new moon. So April 5th, 2019, we have a new moon in Aries. Now, you see here, when I'm doing a regular astrology chart, the moon is represented by a crescent. Okay, but for these new and full moon, I go ahead and I make a white one and an indigo one for the new and full moon, just to make it artistic and just so you can see it better. So again, April 5th, 2019, we have a new moon in Aries, which is analogous to the natural first house of self and appearances. New moon in Aries, the ram. Okay, and again, it's similar to the natural first house of self and appearances. Now, the planetary archangel Raphael visits the dwelling of zodiac angel Int'l. Okay, now April 19th, the 17th, yeah, the 10th is when you have Jupiter beginning a retrograde transit. So Jupiter will begin a retrograde transit on the 10th. And on the 17th, April 17, 2019, we have Mercury is going to ingress Aries, which is akin to the natural first house of self and appearances. And the planetary archangel Raphael visits dwelling of zodiac angel Int'l. So again, we have Mercury here in Aries. A lot of activity in Aries. Okay, now April 19th, we have a full moon here in Libra. So on the 19th, April 19, 2019, full moon in Libra, which is associated with the natural 7th house of law and commitment. Planetary Archangel Gabriel visits the abode of Zodiac Angel Zuriel. Now, April 20th of 2019, the Sun ingress Taurus. Sun ingress Taurus. And that will be here, Taurus the bull. Sun ingress Taurus, which is analogous to the natural 2nd house of money and possessions. Now, planetary archangel Michael, okay, visits habitation of zodiac angel Asmodel. April 20th, 2019, Venus ingress Aries, which is akin to the natural 1st house of self and appearances. Planetary archangel Anael visits dwelling of zodiac angel Int'l. Now, April 24th of 2019, that's April 24th of 2019, Pluto retrograde begins. The retrograde transit of Pluto begins on April 24th. So Pluto on the 21st is not retrograde, but on 24th it will become retrograde. Now, April 30th, we have Saturn going retrograde. So Saturn begins a retrograde transit on April 30th. Again, so on the 21st, Saturn will be direct, but it will go retrograde. Saturn will go retrograde on the 30th. Okay? Now, the Hebrew calendar associations and the Zodiac, being in Hebrew, you call it Mazaroth, the placements for planets regarding ingresses. We're going to give you just some of the Hebrew words that you can utilize. So we have the sun is referred to as Shemesh. Originally I called it Shemesh when I first studied magic in a Rosicrucian system, and then I started calling it Hama because that was supposed to be more modern to call it that, and but then I prefer Shemesh. It suits my proclivities better, so Shemesh is what I prefer. Shemesh, the sun, Ingress, Taurus, or Shore. The sun, Ingress, Taurus here, or Shore for Taurus, Shemesh for the sun. The new moon, Levana, or Rosh Chodesh in Aries, Tale. Okay? Tale for Aries. Full moon, Levana, Keshe, or Shabbat, or Moshiach. In Libra, Moznaim, Libra. Mercury, Kokav. Mercury is Kokav, or Kokav, in Aries. Here, Tale, Aries is Tale. Full, again, let's see, then Venus is called Noga, Ingress Aries. So Venus here also called Noga, Ingress Aries, Aries the ram. Now Mars, Ma'adim, doesn't have any ingresses in April. It has aspects, as we showed you, but it doesn't have any ingresses in April. Jupiter's is Zodiac, again, no ingresses in April. Saturn or Shabbatai, no ingresses in April. And Uranus or Oron in Hebrew, there's no ingresses in April 2019 for Uranus or Oron. And Neptune, Rahab, that also doesn't have any ingresses. Pluto does not have any ingresses in April of 2019 either. So now, please keep in mind, though, that achieving goals and accomplishing phenomenal successes is through you can accomplish that through magical interventions, and these kind of magical interventions are all possible. It's possible to achieve your goals if one knows when and whom to evoke. You can invoke, it's like taking on a god form, it's what actors and actresses do. You can invoke into your sacred space or your sacred circle, call angels to be around you, or you can evoke, just call upon. Now, magicians must also consider how various planetary and zodiacal angelic beings will interact with each other, making sure to invoke potent forces of light that will extend into facets of the Magi's life, predetermined by her or him for specific purposes tangential to true will. Magic must be taken seriously, since it is an ancient method of manifestation intended for practical victories over constricting forces which set our 3D physical reality into motion. Now, magic has rules, just like any other science, which must be devotedly applied to your practice. Magicians strive not to break natural laws, but rather to understand how Mother Nature herself manifests her creation, so that we are able to work in tandem with her. Now, the information found in this document is based on the oral tradition known as Kabbalah, taught to me by Rosicrucian clergy when I was but a young girl, the facts of which I have committed to memory. Thank you for joining us, and please join us again.